Stable.
Stable. Stable.
Stable.
Stable.
Something more boring. Stable. 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 9 to 5, go home, kiss Laurel, that sort of thing.
Stable boy. Stable boy. Stable boy. The one who left you.
Stable boy, stable boy, stable boy.
Daniel. His name was Daniel.
To use it again.
Obviously. I meant, why bring that stable boy back from the dead? Why not?
Gary! I'm just at the part where the milkmaid falls in love with the stable boy.
Okay.
He's stable, due for another 75 milligrams of clozapine.
All right, let's get this done.
It's not stable. Lighter.
We will produce a chemically pure and stable product that performs as advertised.
Tywin? Sons of your father's bannermen, squires, stable boys.
Of course.
Assessing the injured.
We need to get those people out of the streets. That foundation's not stable.
Yeah, no, I need emergency broadcast.
I am working on it. It'll take time.
Hey, can we see him?
Not right now. The doctor said once he's stable, they're going to move him to a recovery ward where he can have some visitors.
Right. So the good news is both he and Max are in stable condition, but the bad news is whoever did this is still out there.
We've looked at every possible extraction point. None are stable enough to bring in the equipment we need to get down there.
Solidarity.
Solidarity.
Solidarity. Solidarity.
Solidarity.
Point. Solidarity is the most important thing here.
With the same courage and solidarity that we showed today. Thank you all.
We're fine. But if you're looking for solidarity, I would be more than happy to skip Owen Hunt's trauma certification lab.
1990, Kozlovsky and his 10th Mountain Brigade in the Black Caucasus went into Warsaw and executed known allies of the Solidarity movement.
Solidarity also has a role in this liquid immensity, 4,000 meters deep.
What's Kratom?
Us. Group name, Solidarity. Band of Brothers.
Some weird cross-generational female solidarity with Cuddy.
Next few weeks. So, I'd like you all to commit to not drinking too, in solidarity, like school children.
I appreciate the solidarity, Tom. There's nothing to do with you, Arthur, believe me.
She was very reckless. Maybe someone got her.
I doubt it. Damn vampire solidarity.
A working mother needs solidarity, and we know where we rank in likability.
Solidarity. If we throw away our solidarity, we throw away our strength. Correct? Yes, boss.
Swift.
Swift. Swift. Swift. Swift.
Throw us and pick up the ransom? You're not too swift. Too swift. Too swift.
Tonight, I give you my most solemn vow that justice will be swift, swift, swift. It will be righteous.
Companions said that his death may be swift, and merciful.
Thanks.
For what?
For nothing. For the swift kick in the ass.
You are a brave and loyal dog. May the wind travel with you. May your journey be swift, while you carry the hope of all the she with you this dawn. Go now.
Stuart is cunning. Uraji, if the queen is alive, find her, and for all our sakes, make it swift.
I think the universe dispenses swift justice.
Oh, he speaks.
Oh, you mean Deke? He's got the flu. It's everywhere. No one can shake it. It's like Taylor Swift.
Justice is not always as swift as we want it to be.
Markov as president of the Republic of Uzbekistan. His swift rise to power came on the heels of the sudden death of former President Zelensky last month.
I'm sure your death would neither be swift nor painless.
What do you want? If you confess your sins to the world, your death will be swift, merciful.
Calendar. Calendar. calendar, calendar,
calendar.
I greatly appreciate being included in your celebratory plans, and I will be sure to mark that special day on my calendar. Calendar.
Like next Thursday.
No, it was last Thursday. It's on the school calendar. School calendar. School calendar.
It's Gatorade.
Oh, perfect. Great. She's all ready to go. This is going to be the best calendar yet.
Look at that, sweetie.
All right.
I'd like that. Very much.
Good. I'll put it on the calendar.
In over a year, touring Asia as a boat show model.
She was in a Chinese boat calendar, but was she bringing in? No.
Message.
Miss Doyle is unavailable. Actually, I have her calendar right here. The 7th is going to be tight. Let's do dinner on the 8th.
You gotta check your calendar, John boy.
You need to hide the expense. So, let's see, calendar, contacts.
Make it to his office.
Last time I missed a meeting with him, it took a year to get back on the calendar, so you should go.
On my own?
Because Matilda missed some important meetings, but Ella was sure she entered them into the calendar correctly. She wanted to know if the calendar had been tampered with.
And was it?
So, there may be something to the U.S. Attorney's theory. I checked Cordero's calendar. He was scheduled to meet with Berman at 5 p.m. yesterday.
You told him we were free Thursday night.
I checked the calendar. We don't have plans.
Justify.
justify, justify,
Justify.
Justify.
We were the last people to piss him off. But it doesn't justify his suicide. And it doesn't justify this revenge.
No. He's a florist. There's no way you can justify it.
I think he knows how to run, which means he has an advantage. Terrorists justify terrorism, Ben.
I am constantly asked to justify why I want to shoot a film on film. But I don't hear anybody being asked to justify why they want to shoot a film.
Ma'am, we simply cannot justify these repairs. The hospital already accounts for most of our spending.
You could have been excised. How did you justify such a risk to yourself?
The only way to justify a morning cigar is to be either out on a golf course or in a meeting, and since I was just fined last week for chipping golf balls up at that helipad...
The OR. No, I imagine it's that kind of thinking that helped you justify Samantha's murder.
Maybe he was just high drunk. Maybe he was telling a story to justify what he'd done.
What son of a bitch.
And I'm sure you'd find some bylaw or loophole to justify doing it. I mean, that's always been the Big Jim way, hasn't it?
I've rather taken to driving myself, and I have to keep finding destinations to justify it.
Deference to the executive cannot possibly justify the injuries to Mr. Mahmood or the death of his family members.
cautious, cautious,
Cautious.
cautious, cautious.
Just when things start getting interesting around here, you go cautious on me.
Recovering my courage with an effort, I take a cautious look out. In the middle of the room.
This is my chance to finally make him pay.
But we have to be cautious.
No, those guys, they're cautious and paranoid. They don't put shit in the file.
Mr. Burke said they might not be.
It was our first session. He was just being cautious, but they felt real because they are real.
We were just following the trail for Omega, like you ordered us to.
I ordered you to be cautious. Former criminals turned into assassins to operate.
You won't have to. We'll be more cautious in the future.
I would never be so petty, but I can appreciate your cautious nature, even if caution doesn't seem to fit with someone who assassinates a head of state in front of 500 witnesses.
I waited at the drop site for an hour.
Calm down, Mr. Krill. There's no need to panic. We're being cautious now that S.H.I.E.L.D. is a factor.
But not yet. Whatever gas came out of that obelisk hit you too. That's why we're being extra cautious.
Unfortunately, Jordan Hester seems to be more cautious than most, but I was able to run a credit check.
Give me 5 minutes.
They're cautious.
Afternoon.
Afternoon.
Afternoon. Afternoon.
Afternoon.
Yesterday afternoon, yesterday afternoon, yesterday afternoon at the Vietnam consulate. No identification yet on the victim or the shooter.
Come on, geez, one day. A whole day.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Are you eating in or taking away today?
Take away.
Afternoon.
State is going to quietly reinstate Kate's coverage in time for the surgery this afternoon.
Good afternoon. As you can imagine, the demands of this job are all-encompassing.
Looks like it might rain, right?
Yes, Your Honor, by this afternoon.
Yeah, I was in Mexico in April, not a drop.
Marilyn, can we do this another time?
Pardon me?
Do you want me to drop by this afternoon? Yes. No, let me figure it out, okay? Definitely, I'll drop by.
I'm your new director of spiritual life, Moray Andy, and this is afternoon discussion time.
Eric, this is not the beach. This is the office.
Epic swell this afternoon.
Instruction.
Instruction.
Instruction. Instruction.
Instruction.
Your instructions said I can lie. Do you lie?
Oh, all the time.
She will remain that way as long as you follow my instructions. Follow my instructions. Follow my instructions. I'm watching you. Always. Get rid of your phone.
He made peace with it.
He hid $150,000 and gave me instructions to give it to her.
It wasn't me that killed him. It was the triad.
Acting on whose instructions?
Save it twice. We're in the tux. I'll await further instructions, sir.
Well, it's a good thing you don't care about your doctor's instructions then, since you're still going out in the field.
The cure. I believe you think you do. And you've seen our instructions. From the President, the Secretary of the Navy. I've seen them.
Your stations. Await further instructions.
How much of this must I endure?
I don't need instructions.
Be sure of your target and what's beyond it.
Damn it, Zoe.
Gave very simple instructions, and you blew it.
You had to test us, didn't you?
Heard from Son, Miller, and the girl. No match.
I think we have to assume the worst and operate as if whoever drew up these instructions are still right here on the ground on Oahu.
Yeah.
I want $1.6 million. I'll call back in 30 minutes with more instructions. You call the police, she dies.
Infect.
Infect. Infect. Infect. Infect.
Jesus, Cooper, do you have pink eye? Go home. You're going to infect everybody. Infect everybody. Infect everybody.
Told you.
You wanted to know what I think. This is what I think. You are all going to infect each other. Infect each other. Infect each other.
Simon produced over 40 pounds of weaponized anthrax. That's enough to infect 500,000 people. Infect 500,000 people. Infect 500,000 people.
We've lost entire cities.
When there's no more people left to infect, they go dormant. Whole cities are lost.
The World Health Organization reports today.
For some idiot to infect themselves with a lethal pathogen and then...
Today.
I don't know. I guess so. Why?
The grounders sent him here with a virus to infect us. And I knew it was the anthrax you told me about.
Then what happened?
He wanted to infect the cows so that their milk would infect anyone who drank it.
He was leaving nothing a chance. He wants to infect as many people as possible. But we have to stop him.
Need him. I mean, we're right on the verge here.
That man tried to infect this entire ship.
What's this whole human guinea pig thing gonna look like? I mean, basically, you infect the crew with the virus, you see what happens.
Yeah, but we don't want another New Orleans on our
They're not looking for a shoot 'em up this time. They're trucking in the sick to infect the crowd, create a panic so that no one ever answers our call again.
In a few hours, the recombinant virus inside those eggs will be strong enough to infect 1/4 of this town.
Tops.
There's a zombie movie scale.
Yo, did you know that zombies exist in nature? There's a species of fungi that infects ants, causing the ants to attack plants that can release spores, which in turn infect new hosts.
Authority.
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 On the screen next day, and this gave you a lot of authority and power.
Sticking him in with Haywire is not rehabilitation in my book. You delegated authority over jump off to me, boss.
By the authority of the Nova Corps, you are under arrest.
Right, come on up.
You make that shot? Hang it up. We don't have authority anyway.
I know it was only temporary, but it gave me the authority I needed to call an emergency board meeting.
Madam Mayor, I have it on good authority that he's been set up.
Hold on a second.
You don't get your samples until you tell me what's going on here.
You have no authority over
Everybody out!
People believe, and neither do you.
As an authority on myself, I must disagree.
Now,
I do not recognize your authority to dictate what is and is not my concern.
I've become my worst nightmare. The authority figure who has to violate a 15-year-old's privacy. Jackpot.
You can't leave me in charge and not give me the authority to make decisions.
I didn't give you the authority to go into my...
During our request for dismissal, but I have authority from the president to share some of the classified.
Australia.
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 No, but true story. We met when I was in Australia.
Mr. Locking, I work for your father-in-law, and you're going straight to the VIP room. Welcome to Australia.
What's that? I thought it'd be a laugh.
We're in Australia. Oh, who could survive here? All that sun and beer's got to piss you off eventually. Learn to live with it.
This expedition in 1860.
Louder.
Today,
More
there
effort!
are over 50,000 feral camels across Australia.
I thought you were in Australia.
Yeah, well, I thought it best.
Yeah, Alexander.
I would like to take Australia. I know a ton about it, and I have my own didgeridoo.
Yeah, well, you know what? I'm sure there are a lot of students here who want Australia. Am I right? So, to be fair, this semester, I'm going to let the globe decide what country. We'll start with you, Alexander. You ready? Here we go. What country?
Australia.
What will it be, will it? Djibouti. Look at that, the Horn of Africa. All right, Djibouti.
What?
Who's gonna be next here? Philip Parker. Here we go. Australia.
So, like, Arnold Schwarzenegger and stuff? That's Austria, not Australia. Can we switch?
No.
Where did this happen?
Australia.
Australia?
Sanctuary Cove on the East Coast.
Facility at Kaina Point, Oahu, and it's too heavily guarded to infiltrate, which is why we came to Australia instead.
I got this in Australia when I was backpacking with these Aborigine spirit guides.
Maybe I will move to Australia. I can live in a yurt.
Grasp.
Grasp.
Grasp. Grasp. Grasp.
My aspiration was to free myself of your father's grasp.
At least their hatred I can understand. I can grasp it.
If it's within your grasp, if you know what it is and who it's with, then you should run to it, grasp it, and never let it go.
I mean, I think you've got this desperate grasp on technology and this grasp on science, and you don't have a hand left to.
Rob's falling apart.
I know you have a learning disability, Stanley, but can you grasp the fact that I'm already working with someone?
What most fail to grasp is that the river is circular.
You'd have to have perfect timing and expert grasp of physics.
Your appearance here has made me realize that the thing I've always wanted is finally within my grasp.
Oh! You do not grasp that you are helpless before pie me!
Parrish agreed to let me shadow her. I thought if I go to med school, this will give me a better grasp of forensic pathology.
It's an enigma, seemingly impossible to grasp, and yet we pursue its mysteries.
You're brought up to think it's all within your grasp, that if you want something enough, it will come to you.
Construct.
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 My dear, even Aphrodite herself could not construct a more odious union.
What if I made you?
I swore before the Board of Overseers that I could construct the most radical, cutting-edge role play ever attempted in psychiatry, and it would bring you back.
We construct our first ideas. We construct our first ideas. We construct our first ideas on them based on their appearance. So, if you want to be accepted, you have to look the part.
I'm an ingenieur. I design illusions and construct the apparatus necessary for performing them.
It vexes. Love is either a human construct or it's a real thing, right?
The concept of love exists. Therefore, it is useful even if it is a human construct. It exists because it serves a need.
There's no such person as Pumpkin. He's a construct of Blake Tanner's mind.
Has helped me feel myself again. To construct for myself an illusion that I'm still on the good fortune.
Read about it. It's as big as a truck.
Yes, well, obviously someone has constructed a portable handheld version.
From what I understand, they're practically identical.
They most likely constructed their labs here, 2 levels below the O2 machine, best place for negative pressure and ventilation.
We believe the Ishveni are constructing a new power source which would neutralize any further attempt to liberate humanity once and for all.
Objective.
Objective. Objective. Objective.
Objective.
Maybe your rating is not so objective. Objective.
You know what? I better be on my way.
Castle may be right. Sarah was the objective.
I'm not concerned with his feelings. I'm concerned with the objective. Objective.
We seem to be pretty good at that.
The Phantom device can't mask a radio broadcast. Our mission objectives will be compromised.
What are our mission objectives?
To remain undetected, of course.
Oh, wow. He is hot. I'm not going to lie to you. I don't think I can be objective anymore. I'm rooting for that guy. I want him to win.
The game can only be won by pursuing seemingly opposing objectives.
Unnecessary noise to cover the thief's actual objective. Martial art commonly known as Zen archery. The objective is to achieve mushin, a state of mindless... Castle, I'm sorry, but you can't be objective on this one, so I'm going to have to pursue it on my own.
She's my mother, which is exactly why someone needs to take a close, objective look at her.
What do they want with you?
What all assassins want, to terminate their objective.
Oh, that's crazy.
Especially for you. Microfragments attracted to kinetic energy. Firestorm was tonight's main objective, but getting you, that's just gravy.
Mean punch.
Let's assume you were here to stop him. We still don't know his objective.
No.
Title.
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 Talking about The Unexpectable Princess.
It's a great title.
It's a wonderful, wonderful title.
Hey, if you don't want me to have a title, don't put me in charge of the ID.
You're the Dragon Warrior. The title carries great honor and great responsibility. T.
What is it? Is it a story or a song title? How many words?
And are you not a lord at my command?
I owe my title and lands to your generosity, your grace.
Then do your job. War. No man living better deserves the title.
That is kind of you to say.
There's nothing we can do about the title.
No. She can't have the title. But she can have your money.
Besides, I'm not sure I want to put him off, even without the title. He doesn't really have a title.
Champ, a Hawaiian-born fighter has never won a world title in that popular welterweight division.
I need to look around for a bit.
And who would you be to grant such title?
In this land I'm known as Balfire.
Twice.
Emma, you missed the goodbye song.
I got the gist of it from the title.
Abnormal.
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 Abnormal. Abnormal.
Okay, that's normal now. No school on Thursdays. No Mondays. Those are really bad. Living in Chicago is abnormal. Yeah, really abnormal. Really abnormal. Really abnormal.
Normal sperm have an oval head with a long tail. Abnormal sperm has defects that can affect the ability of sperm to reach and penetrate an egg.
I found this case in the ER. White male, mid-30s, loss of consciousness, abnormal EKG, abnormal EKG, abnormal EKG.
The EEG didn't show any abnormal brain activity.
Have you witnessed any abnormal behavior by animals in your neighborhood?
All right, let's run some tests.
There was an abnormal shift in the velocity of the current.
I've discovered several cellular anomalies in his blood that I've been unable to categorize. The mutations seem to have triggered the abnormal development of basic kinesthesia and reflexes.
Normally?
Huh?
You said normally, just like I do this so much that I'd have a normal and an abnormal version of it?
Why can't we ever have normal soup?
Danielle, there's nothing abnormal about basil puree.
Well, just keep your eye on me. You know, if I do anything even slightly abnormal, put a bullet in my head.
Assemble.
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 This is about you doing your job and me doing mine. Mine's being left alone to manage this team you assembled for me. Assembled for me. Assembled for me.
I didn't assemble them for you, Art.
No shit.
Crimson Typhoon, China, one of the greatest. Assembled in Shansu, all titanium core, no alloys.
So this is the faucet assembly. Look at all the different parts, okay? Yeah, go ahead. Hold in your hand, familiarize yourself with everything. Now, every part here is made and assembled and assembled and assembled in the United States. It's something we're very proud of.
Doctor, we're gonna need to speak with the staff. Do you understand?
I'll assemble them in the common room after dinner.
Oh, powder my nose.
Everyone, please assemble in the drawing room for this evening's whist party.
I propose we assemble a team and take the nuts for the park. Everybody, what did I tell you?
It's her. Madison Square Park, 1 hour. I'll assemble the team.
They set up shop in an abandoned storefront by Pushkin Square. Assemble a team immediately. I want the men responsible for this dead before they leave Russia.
Of course.
I've always thought that you'd make someone a fine husband someday, assuming you'd be able to get the parts and develop the engineering skills to assemble them, which I don't see as likely. Hacha! Behavior in the cafeteria was delightful. Yeah, maybe your friend Gunderson needs to head over to IKEA and assemble a sense of humor.
B.
B. B.
B. B.
The only B you're attracting is BRYCE. I'm telling you, that boy is lost in Loveland.
There's a bee in her hair. See, there it goes.
There's no B. There's no B. There's no B.
It flew out the window.
Can you check his diaper?
Oh, just drop Bumblebee. 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 You drop Bumblebee?
I think he might be wet.
No, Bumblebee. There you go.
Style.
That wasn't my style. That was a uniform. KFC.
My worker bee.
Pacing backwards and forwards in figure 8 like a demented bee.
Good.
Well, it's B-Day, right?
Yeah, about that. I have to cancel.
I do indeed. I'm tracking bee populations in the city for an NGO.
Aha.
It's a lot like the job I did in Costa Rica. We're assessing the colony's strength and numbers.
So you're
Counting bees.
Well, head of town. The bee pupae are emerging. See you later?
Okay.
Max found charred burlap and pine needles in Marina's lungs.
Which could be used in a bee smoker.
Well, that's just great. Why don't we just put an APB out on every bee on the island? Everything will be just fine.
Actually, that's not a bad idea. Commerce of bees is heavily monitored on the island.
You're not management. My guess is you're a drone. You're a worker bee. Top buttonholes pull wide and frayed. You're fatter than you used to be. You can't afford a new shirt. You're not even a successful worker bee. But maybe there's another reason that you can't afford a new shirt, huh?
Evidence.
Evidence. Evidence.
Evidence.
Evidence.
I found some evidence that suggested that Paul murdered Deirdre.
Terrible. Okay, there is no evidence that shows that getting patients up faster makes any difference at all.
About what?
You remember when somebody disappeared about $1 million worth of cocaine out of evidence? The evidence? Cassidy gave him a name, Joe Walker, same name he checked in under.
Early discharge, no benefits. Never did find enough evidence to court-martial you for that C4 you sold on the black market.
The mountain of evidence we discovered, uncovered, confirmed, and clarified. You cannot dispute it.
What was that? You spoon-fed him a good defense, and he's not stupid. He went with it. But there's still a preponderance of evidence against him.
You making any headway with the old trio video?
Not really.
No evidence of emotional change at all.
They got the color of the car we were driving wrong. Evidence was tainted, whatever.
Hooker.
Want to make it up to me? Find me evidence of a money transfer.
No real evidence at all.
We need to find a lawyer who believes that he's innocent.
The evidence against him is very compelling. You're letting your feelings for him cloud your judgment.
Any idea who did it?
The name on the evidence box was Elias. That mean anything to you?
The evidence was stolen from lockup a couple weeks back,
Evidence was stolen from a 40-year-old cold case?
along with the murder weapon.
Speculate.
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 Do you mean brick?
We can't speculate on what is or isn't brick.
Well, no. The thing is, man, you have to speculate, to accumulate, in business like.
Writers like being alone.
Yeah, if I could write. But the painkillers make me a little loopy. Last night I used the word speculate 3 times in the same sentence.
You must be bored.
I am not religious, and I don't want to speculate on what kind of chosen person I am or what kind of power center is inside of me.
This is the 5th sighting of mysterious objects over Grizzly Lake. Authorities speculate an elaborate hoax perpetuated by high school.
Dad,
I'm just an old prison warden. I couldn't speculate on the motives of global corporations.
Far be it from me to, speculate on the state of your marriage, but I looked in your coat closet and saw it was full of top-of-the-line outerwear.
You're an addict. It's not difficult to track her movements, nor is it unreasonable to speculate that she may have broken the law.
The reason that the murderer wanted him to die in precisely this way might have even wanted people to speculate that Bella is responsible.
We really don't have the information to speculate at this point.
Okay.
That sample suggested such a possibility. So she's just going to keep on growing? It's impossible to speculate.
If I were to speculate, I think the president
Speculation is a poor form of investment.
And plead the 5th.
Where do you think she is?
I don't want to speculate.
God damn it, I pay the 6 of you more in one day than it costs to put a kid through college.
Tension.
Tension.
Tension. Tension.
Tension.
Sensing some tension.
No tension. We just want to meet him already. No bullshit.
Careful. The tension in that bow is 150 pounds. Snap it, you'll end up with carbon fiber shrapnel in your eyes.
Through there. And it puts a kind of a tension on things.
Something awful, but I'm gonna diffuse that tension right now. That's not gonna happen.
I know there is tension in the air, so let's go ahead and address the elephant in the room.
Wanted for you was happiness. If it will allay this tension between us, I'll turn the switch back on. Save your money, Dad.
Do what?
She's trying to force us to talk because she's sensing the tension between us.
I couldn't help but notice some tension between you and Dr. Wells.
I know there's been some tension, and I'm probably more to blame than you are.
Yes, we have. Is there tension between the Israelis and the Palestinians? Absolutely.
Portrait.
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 Down. If you love me, take it down.
My portrait. My portrait. My portrait. My portrait of you. Mad.
Had it done before the wedding.
What do you think?
Of the portrait?
Yeah.
Portrait?
Yeah.
Portrait?
Yeah.
It's nice?
Yes. Of course, dear.
The invitation has come from Downing Street for the unveiling of your portrait. Portrait. Portrait.
Little girl, how would you like your portrait sketched by the world-renowned Margaret Aldrich, Queen of the Bay?
These are revelations which pierce the veil of secrecy surrounding this war, painting a more complete portrait of events we thought we understood, but we may not have known at all.
An outstanding landscape painter. But among his many splendid landscapes, he painted 3 portraits.
I was trying to emulate Degas, who lights up his portrait faces with all these wonderful colors.
Degas.
But the image made on this day will be the last official portrait ever taken of the 16th President of the United States.
Oh, I forgot to mention, sir, we got a call from Photo about a portrait sitting. You're going up on the 25 years of service wall.
And keeping every reporter from asking if the governorship has gone to Peter's head.
You won, Eli. It's not wrong to put such a beautiful portrait in a place of prominence.
When will you ever finish my portrait if we sit together so infrequently?
How about a self-portrait? You saying you want to eat me? Because I don't know how to feel about that, bro.
Freelance photographer. I do weddings and family portraits. Listen, I swear I didn't do anything.
The portrait in your room depicts you alongside Lord Thomas Hamilton.
It was the same thing with the Garrido self-portrait in Belize. I mean, I wasn't taking it out of a purse. It was more like a highly secured wing of a Central American antiquities.
Acid.
Acid.
Acid. Acid. Acid.
Angry little princesa. Help me get him into the bathroom.
What are you gonna do?
Put him in the tub.
Oh, because he peed his pants, right?
Yes, I'm going to burn his clothes, drain his blood, and melt his balls with acid. With acid. With acid.
All right.
I watched a dead body get removed from your old cold spot and sealed into a barrel of acid. Acid. Acid.
Oh! Oh, God! It hurts worse than the burns!
Yes, these are special acid markers. Acid markers. Acid markers.
I'm writing you a prescription for prenatal vitamins. We'll start with 600 micrograms of folic acid. Xanax?
No, Xanax. Restylane.
Generic cheaper.
Mexican generic hyaluronic acid.
Easy, pouring acid, not gin.
I'm super bad. The hydrochloric acid is reacting perfectly with the calcium carbonate in the shell.
This is not my first interrogation by the Republican Guard. This is where they burned me with acid. They pierced my hands with a drill.
I don't think escape is an option. Not at 30,000 feet.
If this was a division job, they'd be sending me in right now with a couple of briefcases full of acid. Valproic acid, steroids, dextroamphetamines. It's a metabolic dominance.
I don't really trust this ingestible tracker of yours.
The microdot is activated by stomach acid. Give it time.
Overseas.
Overseas.
Overseas. Overseas. overseas,
Do you remember back when you were just getting your pilot's license and you and I would sit there and would talk about all those like overseas trips we would take and stuff?
You keep your market here, but by adding overseas sales, you could more than double your current profits.
You built quite the reputation. And you should have stayed overseas. I thought about it.
Left a message, but he does a lot of business overseas. He may not even be in the country.
Since Strucker is overseas, I assume you report to someone else.
They're taking off.
Now, Strucker's overseas. I'd say that's probably where they're going.
Customer service representative with an Indian accent will create the impression we're a vast enterprise that uses overseas call centers. Oh, very clever.
She's currently helping set up a secondary derivative market, which would allow overseas car firms to hedge their investments against potential advancements in battery technology.
I get that.
Is there anything else about your past I should know?
Couple of things, but most of them happened overseas. I'll tell you later.
Talk to Evan. Ask him if he knows this guy or anything about his dad's business. International contacts, overseas phone calls, anything that might be able to tie Roland to the serves.
Wait! I got $25 million in an overseas bank account. It's yours.
You know, the father's overseas defending our country. And then something like this happens, man. It pisses me off.
Extensive.
extensive,
Extensive.
Extensive.
Extensive. Staff Sergeant Dignam is our liaison to the undercover section. This undercover work is extensive. It's extensive. It's extensive. He's here to give us his report, Sergeant Dignam.
Hendricks, Jim Morrison, Janice Joplin. The list is extensive. The list is extensive. The list is extensive.
Castle, we kind of need a different list. Like, who might have been in this trailer last night?
Oh, no. Norwegian prisons are surprisingly evolved. Decent food, comfy bed, extensive library, extensive library, extensive library.
9 months ago. That's impossible. The damage was extensive.
A brilliant someone. In this case, a brilliant someone with extensive medical knowledge and real reason to pay close attention to the sudden death of 2 of his surgical patients.
I was working on a case where I was required to spend quite a bit of time in London's extensive network of underground tunnels and catacombs.
As I also pointed out.
Brain hemorrhaging, pretty extensive on the left side.
You see, I've had extensive dealings with the Earl over the years, and so I'd long heard of the tragedy that befell.
According to Celebrity Examiner, Christina is notorious for seducing famous men with her extensive bikini collection.
Previous injuries?
Yes, your sister has extensive scar tissue over her entire body.
We did the best we could under the circumstances, but her injuries were extensive.
I'm afraid he can't do anything. The damage to his temporal lobe was too extensive. He's not the same, and since Simmons left, he's only getting worse.